I haven't covered this up to this point, but I kind of wish that I had, because the precedent that this case could have potentially set would have a massive impact on both me and almost every content creator on the internet. Maybe every content creator on the internet, at least if they are subject to American copyright law, that is, which I think might apply to every YouTuber because it's an American company. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but regardless, this is all between Americans, so we'll keep it on that subject. A while ago, some drama started between two creators, Hassan Piker and Ethan Klein. They were friends, and they had a big falling out over Israel. And I do believe that the people that were really pissed at Ethan Klein about this went way too far with it in some areas. There was CPS calls made to his home to try to have his children taken away from him. People were sending skulls to his house. There was some pretty fucked up stuff going on. And then it got pretty, what's the word for it, personal for Ethan Klein, clearly. And that's what led to a lawsuit, because he decided he was going to make a nuke video, like a content nuke, on Hassan. I thought the nuke was pretty good, but was pretty well substantiated, etc. And another creator who's friends with Hassan, or I guess a defender of Hassan, Denims, decided to respond to it. And she did so specifically saying, like, come watch it on my stream instead of giving Ethan Klein money. And Ethan Klein's response was to sue most people in Hassan's orbit, including Denims, who all did the same thing. And Denims, as it turns out, as of yesterday, has tentatively, meaning not fully, but it's likely will be fully, has won the case. And this is critical. It was a copyright case. Like, Ethan Klein was trying to sue her and a bunch of other people for copyright because they reacted to his content nuke on Hassan. Here's the thing, though. Their reactions were transformative. Fundamentally, like, I went ahead and I didn't pay much attention to this drama while it was happening, but I skimmed through Denims's content nuke response, and she's talking and criticizing it and giving thoughts. Like, as far as doing a live response to something, if that doesn't count as fair use, that would be really bad. It would be really, really bad if a court decided that did not align with fair use definitionally. It would be a problem. And you can agree with Ethan Klein's reason for why he doesn't like these people, because it got pretty personal, going after his children and whatnot, but trying to weaponize the law against them when, to be honest, it seemed pretty obvious from the get-go that this was fair use. Like, even if you argue it's meant to be a market replacement, even though she stated it was meant to be a market replacement, basically, that alone is not enough to determine something not fair use, at least by the definition of it. So had this gone in Ethan's favor, even if you hate Hassan, even if you hate his orbiters, this would have been bad for all free speech online. The type of content I do, for instance, responding to right-wing chud channels, would absolutely get me in trouble if fair use was not protecting that type of critical content responding to conservatives that I do. Man, multiple other people made nukes against Ethan Klein, some who don't even like Hassan himself all that much. IDK if this Denims gal did, but I heard she won some sue against Ethan or IDK. K-Dody, why did you type all that out as I'm doing the intro to this segment talking about all that? Anyway, as I was saying though, yes, this entire case was massively precedent-setting. Well, it could have been, at least, because, as it turns out, the precedent that was used to come to the conclusion that fair use was met was Ethan Klein's own precedent that he set when the legal system was weaponized against him and Hila back in, like, 2015, I want to say. 2016 would have been when that big H3 lawsuit happened, and it was, like, a big win for fair use and YouTube creators. Unfortunately, Ethan's basically found himself on the villain side of this. And I know that might sound a little bit extreme. Here, I can bring up the, here's the conclusion in the court filing. That may sound a little bit extreme, but guys, I don't know if you're aware of this. There's a real problem with certain creators weaponizing fair use against critics, or even people that just, these creators that want to make sure they have a full monopoly on all discussion around their content. Here's an example of somebody that, I mean, I can only hope that this established precedent will help to defend against this guy in the future. One of the biggest copyright abusers on YouTube is CGP Grey. CGP Grey has tried to get very fair use reactions to him, he has struck them down. He will not opt for the, hey, could you take down this video? Hey, he won't opt for like the non-harmful content claiming option where he just gets all the ad revenue from the video even. CGP Grey issues strikes onto anybody who reacts to his content, no matter how transformative. He's tried to take down many people's channels before. There was this one history YouTuber who reacted to some of CGP Grey's videos, and CGP Grey waited till he had made his third reaction video so that he could try to hit him all at once with 3 copyright strikes and get his channel taken down. And thankfully the guy caught on after the second strike and was quick enough to delete the third video before CGP Grey could report that one too, or not report, but claim that one too. But if he hadn't been faster than CGP Grey, and I'm going to keep saying his name because you need to know his name and that he does this, would have taken his channel down. CGP Grey is one of the biggest, like as a person, the guy who runs that channel is one of the biggest assholes on all of YouTube, genuinely. Like, he is a massive copyright abuser and does not get enough hate for it. Also, I don't know if you know this, but you'll notice that you'll occasionally get a CGP Grey video and you're recommended again. After like years and years and years, it'll be like, that's a 9-year-old CGP Grey video? How have I never seen this title or thumbnail? Then you click it and you realize you've already seen it before, because every couple years CGP Grey goes through his videos, he goes to his oldest videos, he gives them a new title and a new thumbnail, and like the algorithm pushes it as if it's new, and you end up thinking there's a new video and it's not. So like, he considers even his decades old videos now, you are not allowed to react to them. They are still a valuable source of revenue for him. He has locked down his comment section where you can only be a member, and his subreddit is restricted to only Patreon supporters. So like, any kind of conversation around CGP Grey's content has to be approved by him, and you have to pay him to do it. You have to pay him to have permission to talk about his content and be part of the discussion in any way. And of course, if you try to make a reaction video to him, he'll try to strike your channel down. People like that exist. They have immense amount of power. They have huge platforms, and they would love to silence any conversation about them that they don't like using the copyright system. A good example of this is a copyright abuser named The Quartering, and all of his attacks on Kino Casino, that live stream show for exposing him. He went after them with multiple false copyright attacks. And then there's the ideological wing, where you've got people like a certain Australian YouTuber named Dark Viper AU, and while I like Dark Viper AU's GTA content, I think it's probably the best there is, he is deranged when it comes to reaction content. I have genuinely listened to every single one of his videos on the subject because I am interested in hearing his argument and trying my best to like steelman. Like, I hear his argument and then I try to use my own points to steelman it, but it's still just doesn't hold up to scrutiny when I consider the kind of website, the kind of internet we'd be on if someone like Dark Viper AU's standards for what makes a transformative video was the standard. What I do would be banned. Like, me doing a live reaction to a video, even if I turned a 15-minute video into a 3-hour dissection with nonstop pauses and long diatribes about how the video is wrong or stupid, that doesn't count as fair use in the eyes of someone like Dark Viper. But it is fair use legally. There are a lot of people who would have loved to use a different outcome to this case to eliminate any conversation about them they don't like. While you can argue Ethan was a legitimate victim, having CPS calls made to his house and stuff, weaponizing the law and potentially setting a new legal precedent that could make weaponizing the law even easier for other people in the future is not the way to go about approaching that issue. If Ethan thought Denims was involved with the snarking stuff, I'm sure there's some kind of, I don't know, harassment or I don't know, like defamation suit he could have leveraged, but instead he went the copyright route. And that just feels vindictive. Like, he thought he could technically win if he took the copyright route, and his goal was just to do something spiteful. Not a good look. Not a good look. Ethan's video on the 3 creators he called out was fire. Listen, I'll admit, I do have a little bit of a bias in favor of Denims because me and her are on pretty good terms. But, I mean, like, even separate from any friendship with Denims, it's like, I mean, I'm a YouTuber. I'm going to fall on her side in this case, naturally. No one's in favor of extreme tightening of the standard of what is and isn't fair use. No one should be, at least, if they know what these rules are. But yeah, the decision isn't fully cemented yet. Technically, Ethan Klein can still respond to this ruling by the judge, but in like 9 out of 10 times, 99% of the time maybe, a tentative ruling by the judge is upheld. So it's not a final ruling, but it's probably the same as what the final ruling will be. So most have already written off this case as done and dusted. I don't know, has Ethan Klein responded to this yet, by the way? That's an interesting one, actually. I don't think I've seen any clipped responses. Has he been like, dude, imagine he hasn't like uploaded since this news came out? Has he said anything? No. No way. Wait, did he stream a day ago? He streamed a day ago. He streamed a day ago. Did he not talk about the case? When was this? Streamed 2 days ago. No, they haven't streamed since this news came out. Oh, man. Oh, no. I would have loved to get a reaction or a response in here for us to be able to watch, but it doesn't seem like, I'm gonna be honest, guys, what it seems like to me is that maybe he's, not quite looking forward to making another live streamer video again after this news came out. Which, yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. It's kind of crazy. I haven't really followed any of this up till now. I don't know if any of you guys have. I know this was like a somewhat big story on the left for the last 6 months or so. But I'm gonna be honest, like, this particular realm of things, like following this lawsuit and stuff, just kind of seemed a bit sloppy to me until we actually had a conclusion. So now that we have one, and it's one that is probably what's best for creators, I mean, felt like a good time to cover it. Seriously, I know that some of you guys might have a bone to pick with certain types of reaction content, and I get that. I get that, okay? I understand why you would. A lot of reaction content online has a understandably bad reputation for being low effort and cringe and content thievery and etc., etc. But I think we all know there's a big difference between, say, my kind of reaction video that I make here on stream and something like, I don't know, XQC, when he would just like get up and walk away and just the video would play, or he would say nothing for long periods or whatever. I know that there's a valid frustration with that kind of thing, but that doesn't mean genuine fair use doesn't exist, because it does, and it should be protected. It's part of freedom of speech, and it is vital to freedom of speech. That's pretty much it, though.